What's going on, everybody? It's me, cartoon internet boy, here today to talk about things that, if you can't tell, I am tacitly uncomfortable. Is tacitly the right word? I'm gonna Google that while I talk to you. I was gonna say I was tacitly uncomfortable with it. Yeah, it is the right word. A way that is understood or implied without being directly stated. So, well, now I'm directly stating it. So now I'm just like explicitly uncomfortable talking about this. But anyway, Dabi or like Toya, I guess Todoroki. This burned fucking. I said fuck really. I said fuck in under a minute. I said it like multiple times under a minute. You think they'll get mad at me? You think YouTube will get mad at me? I don't know. YouTube, if you get mad at me, just don't. Just don't. Okay, come on. Just don't get mad at me. Um, just just don't. If you were gonna do anything in this video, just don't do it. This beef jerky boy over here on the right hand side, this mummy man, this burned to a crisp mummy boy, is actually like super relatable, to me at least in a lot of ways. Um, I get frustrated. I talk about it a lot on the show proper. I even mentioned the the core crux of the story, I guess, on the show a little bit. But like, the show does such a good, not the show, not our show, the My Hero, the Horikoshi's creation, does a really good job of like portraying this kind of familial setting, because it wasn't like your stereotypical like abuse story is like violent beatings by an evil monster man, and then that's it, and then this Todoroki family story explicitly is not like that. Um, it's not at all like that, and it to me is super relatable. So I guess I'll talk about why. Don't expect a lot of the story. It's funny. I'm like sharing something explicitly emotional, but even in my brain, I'm like, this is a dumb thing to say, and talking about this is stupid, and you're gonna look like a fucking idiot. So, I'll give you the abridged version, I guess. So I have one sibling, younger sibling, uh, younger than me, and she's great, talented, smart, creative, funny, you name it, outgoing, expressive, great person. Uh, Clearly, all the luck went that way when the children were made. See, I'm doing it already. That's weird. It's a weird thing for me to say in a video about how I relate to fucking Toya, isn't it? Anyway, so I was like 8 maybe when she was born. I was like third grader, like a third grader when she was born. And my parents are, I'm trying to think of a flowery yet polite way to say this. Um, they are two casualties of capitalism who probably realized a little bit too late that they shouldn't have gotten married. Um, I don't know that they got married because of me, because they won't ever tell me, even though I'm like a grown ass man. They claim that I was like a fully planned, well thought out baby, but given their ages at the time that I was born, and the fact that I am exactly the same age as their marriage, I question that frequently. But they won't tell me, and I don't press because I don't care that much, I guess, about it. But uh, they work shitty jobs for no money, as many people do in this wonderful country of the United States, where you just work a shitty job to barely get by until you die. Uh, and so they did not have a whole lot of emotional leeway left over after that. You get pretty exhausted spending all day, every day, working your ass off for barely enough money to live. You know, that sure sucks. It sure drains you. Um, if you can't tell by my many ums and long pauses, I'm having a great deal of difficulty explaining this story in a way that I think is adequate. Because still in my head, I'm like, this is a nothing. This is a dumb thing to discuss, and you're like offending people who really suffered because you're just being a baby. Uh, so anyway, they had her around like when I was like 8, and their emotional availability was already pretty thin, just given the fact that, like, one, they suffer every day through this bullshit, and then two, they suffer through one another. Uh, they, I don't know what you want to call it, the throes of a unhappy marriage is not really that much different than a divorced household, except as the kid, you're constantly aware of it because you're around it all the time. So like, as they're actually still together, funnily enough, even though I don't think I can even remember any more um, times where they were both happy around one another. But the emotional availability was not there, obviously, because they were preoccupied, loathing every second of their lives, which I don't blame them for. I would be too, because boy, I do the same thing. Capitalism blows. Capitalism seriously blows. They don't blame capitalism for it because I'm an enlightened millennial genius, and they're Gen Xers who are too close to boomers to understand capitalism bad. But my enlightened leftist millennial genius brain figured out that capitalism is bad. But anyway, that's not what the story's about either. It's about how Toya in that family situation is well written and relatable. Um, so to make up for the fact that, like, I was already teetering on that edge of, like, not getting enough attention at a young age, combined with the fact that now there was a baby, right? That you have to give a lot of attention to because it's a fucking baby. Um, it hit the point where I would, like, hey, I'd start doing worse in school. I was the kind of student throughout my school years where, like, I would walk into your classroom, take a test, get a 90 on your test, then you would be like, okay, do this homework, and I would just walk out. I'm not fucking doing that. So my grades were shitty, but never like failing or like dropout level, because I was just like, I would do just enough homework to mesh with my really, really good in class grades to make up for the amount of homework I didn't want to do. Um, just enough to get by. So I made it out of high school and all that stuff, and went to college afterward because that's what you do. You go to college after high school. That's just the way it goes. But can you tell how nervous I am? I bet you can. I bet you can, because I can tell. I'm just talking to the void. I don't even really know why I'm making this. I don't talk to people about this because, like, again, I think it's like a piss baby thing to be sad about. So, like, I'm a fucking idiot for caring about it. But I guess I'm talking about it just because it's nice to do so. So I'm just spitting it into the void of the internet, and I'm just gonna not read the comments. I'm just gonna not read the comments. I'm just gonna spit it into the ether, and let it manifest as it will. But basically, it got to the point where, like, as she was getting old enough to do good, they had, like, their only response to me doing worse and worse in school was, like, to get pissed off, or, like, say, oh, this makes us look like awful parents that you're not doing good in school. And I was like, I don't care what I'm the one who's upset. So their shift of focus was just like, okay, well, we tried with the first one. The first one didn't work out. The second one, we'll work on the second one. So the second one, got super doted on, and I don't blame her for any of this. I should clarify. Well, not now. I probably did when I was younger. I do think it impacted our relationship when I was younger. I was probably, it was in a weird position because, like, I was able to, as a much older person, because I was, like, going on 10 years old when they had her. So when she was 10, I was like 18. I was like 18, 19 years old when she was still pretty young. Um, anyway, I was in this position of, like, I could recognize that they weren't really fostering her that well emotionally either. Um, and kind of step into that. Like, I could be the mediator when stuff got out of hand as, like, an objective adult. But then as, like, still a child, I was not really an adult. It was from the age of, like, 16 to 18. But as still, like, a child, I was also, like, probably a little resentful, and I do think that impacted our relationship. We're great now because I've grown and processed all this stuff. I hope none of them know about this YouTube channel. That would be awkward, wouldn't it? If they knew about this fucking YouTube channel, that'd be weird. Uh, um, damn. Anyway, uh, where was I? Oh yeah, I just like relating to this character of Toya as this kid who kind of grew up and was like, you're the first kid, and when you're the first, if you're a younger sibling or an only child, I guess only childs know too. But if you're a younger sibling, you don't really know what it's like to be the first kid because the first kid is like not the test run per se, but you're like super hardcore doted on because you're the first kid early on, like at first. Um, in a way that younger kids, where parents who have been through it once before and they know what to expect, don't quite the same way. So, early years were super good, and then as it progressed, and like that attention went from doting to we're exhausted and unhappy at home and we don't have time for you, to we have zero time for you because we're exhausted and unhappy and we have this kid, and then it went for give up on you, move to this other kid who's going to do it better than you. I relate to that in a big way. I'm just kind of rambling. This is both My Hero Academia is a good story, and I'm using the internet to just vent for a little bit. I don't know if I'll upload this. I might not upload this. This is kind of a piss baby video. I'm kind of being a little bab, a little dweeb right now. Um, but anyway, I it didn't really get a whole lot better until like I moved out. Like we would fight a lot, and it got to the point where like my only interaction with my family at home was fighting with them. Like my sister just wanted attention from me, but I was emotionally unavailable because I just wanted attention from my parents that I didn't get. And so my response was basically the same as his, like fighting with them, right? Like you read Toya taking this stuff really offensively and then, getting really upset and taking it out on his siblings and taking it out on his mom and all this stuff. That's what it's like, like you're emotionally unavailable, and the only thing that you know how to do is get angry about it. It's the only way you can process it, right? Is you just get mad about it. And you're not really mad about it, right? Like you're not at that age, you're not able to process it. Like as an adult, I can process like, oh, they were tired and they were unhappy, and it's difficult to fight through that unhappiness. But like when you're a little kid, all you can think is that like you're hurting and you don't know why, and you just don't know how to articulate or process that in a healthy way, and so you just get mad. And there's a lot of times where you're just fucking mad all the time. And so the majority of me in like high school was like being home and being mad, or being with friends and people who made me not mad. And so that was most of what I did. And a lot of my friends weren't the best folks in the best situations either. Not that they're like shitty people. I wasn't like in a gang or anything. It was just, the the crowds, as it were. I don't know. I don't think anybody knows that I don't think anybody knows I have this YouTube channel. That's fine. I don't think anybody knows. Uh, I don't think anybody knows. Uh, anyway, I'm getting off topic, but like, uh, I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of just talking in circles, as you can tell. Basically, it's really well written and believable. And having kind of lived through something similar, I mean, I wasn't like born to be the prince of all fire type Pokemon like this kid was, but like you go from, at least I did in this situation, like, oh, this is the kid, he's super smart, look at this, to like, I don't know what happened to you. You obviously didn't work out, failure. That sucks. We're going to this one that's the right one that's going to really do it this time. Um, which isn't great. Like, I think the most pissed off I've ever been, it may be in my life, was I was like in my 20s, and in like I went to like community college. I didn't like go to a college. That's why I'm a fucking idiot, right? Because I didn't go to like a 4-year university. That's why I'm not smart. Uh, uh, and I was just like chilling in my room. And my motivation was obviously like at ground zero, right? Because at that point, like I had not done good enough in school to like go to a big university, so I just like went to get an education. But I didn't really give a shit about that either. I was just like doing it because it's what you're supposed to do. Because I was young enough and had zero support structure, so I didn't have like what I wanted to do or what I wanted to be or do anything. So I was just like fucking sitting there, and I was literally in the house, and my sister and mom were fighting about something, and the throwback line that she used to my sister was that she better get her act together before she ends up like I do. And Jesus Christ, like the absolute red hot fury that hit me when she said that was beyond like I think anything I've ever felt in my life, other than that moment. If that was a that was my Toya misogyny moment, right? Like that was when I almost hit. Um, and so like again, I can I guess like ugh, it's been hard reading these chapters because of the emotional response they bring out in me as like recognized. Now, obviously, I have not burned or had a desire to burn anyone as I have grown out of it because I had a bit of a better support structure than this kid did. But you can't help but think like when you see this kind of stuff, like wow, not only is this kid's shitty life super relatable because like I relate to it, and I think even now I'm like I don't know. I guess I don't know if I'm a well-adjusted adult. I mean, I sit here and I make podcasts about fucking cartoons and shit, but I mean, adjusted level or not, I'm an adult, and I can process things from a more objective stance because I'm divorced from it after as time has passed. The fuck am I even saying? Yeah, this is so rambly and stupid. I might upload this for like an hour and then take it down after like an hour and not read the comments ever. Anyway, it's just like I think about how in my bids to get attention and in my like sense of like being on my own, right? Like I felt very like on my own from a very young age. In that sense of it, like I can see as an adult the things that I missed out on that I could have done had I not been such a little shithead. And I don't really blame anyone else for that because it feels like an easy excuse to be like, well, you know, home life sucked, so I didn't do good, and that's why everything is like it is. But I'm also not naive enough to be like, oh, I didn't pull myself up by my bootstraps when I was 13, so obviously, um, the Republicans are right or whatever. What am I even doing? Why am I recording this? What is this for? I'm just saying words into the fucking air. Basically, this shit's really good, and I wish more people understood it from like a more nuanced standpoint because like all the discourse around it is so shitty and bad, and I hate it. Um, and like it can't take a mature look at it, and so it gets really frustrating having to read all these 14-year-old psych majors like no, I never is a -6 out of 10 on the morality scale, and I've crunched the numbers, and his lack of morality is 28 tons of gigatons of TNT on the power scaling charts or whatever the hell, and like I think it also annoys me to see like Dabi forgiveness, not because like I was in the same situation as him and I didn't burn anyone, but like I guess I don't entirely forgive myself either for the outcomes of the things that I dealt with that were similar. Again, I wasn't supposed to be the Charizard prince, but like obviously there were expectations of me that it was made very clear by familial members that I did not meet. Um, and that has an impact on a kid, and it lasts for a long time. And it's not something I dwell on, but reading it weekly in a fucking cartoon for little babies certainly brings that out some to an extent. And so I guess I have a more personal stake in the conversation around it, even if I try not to, because I don't want to be that guy on the internet who's like, you don't fucking get to talk about this Chinese comic book because you haven't experienced what I have, blah blah blah, or whatever the fuck, But like, it's just frustrating to see a really well painted real life situation um, reduced to like a power scaler. Can Endeavor's shitheaded daddiness beat Goku? Can is Dabi purely a victim, or does he have some responsibility for his actions? And is his responsibility strong enough to bust a planet or not? Like, online discourse around anime sucks, I guess is what I'm saying. And it's just hitting me in a particularly emotional point. um. Anyway, I guess that's it. I don't know. Oh, I should probably clarify. I feel like I dolled my sister up in this to be like this little daddy's little like princess type thing. Not the case. She has her own issues. Honestly, pretty similar to Shoto. When you're the one who gets burdened with the both parents regret their lives and you're their one out because they view the older brother as the failure who couldn't do it for them. So now they have to live vicariously through you. And when I mean it, I mean it. Like, I'm talking, she's their internet password, and they follow every single thing she does on Facebook with like insane over enthusiasm. She's like 21. She's like going on 22, and there's still like everything she does. There's pictures all over the house. I asked for a dog from like age 5, and it never happened. And she got 2 cats already, and like she got a brand new car off the lot. But like, that all sounds like kind of good stuff, Like, it sounds almost like the opposite of what I had. And so from my standpoint, I can see why it would be good, but it also puts a shit ton of pressure on someone to be like the family savior, Like, oh, you're gonna redeem it all because I didn't go to college, and your brother only went to a community college, but you're gonna go to a real school and make something of yourself and justify my parenting to me and all this stuff. And it's stressful. Like, she has probably worse anxiety than I do. I think, well, maybe she's just a lady and I'm a guy, and we're taught to articulate it better. I don't know. She's a lot more vocal about her stressors than I am, so I guess it seems like it might be worse because I have pretty bad anxiety, but I cope. I sniff copium really hard. I'm really good at bottling that shit up until I can get by myself and just explode for like half an hour. That's pretty much what this is. Is bottling for like a week and a half and then vomiting out emotions into the void. Um, so I still don't know if I'm going to post this or not because I normally just vomit emotion. But it doesn't help because like I'm old enough to have processed it all, So like saying it to myself, like I get it. I understand it already. None of this shit makes any sense at all. I probably should have put a warning on the beginning of this if it's going to make people feel bad. But also, it's not that serious. So what am I being like? What kind of little baby man am I being right now? Being a little fucking dweeb. absolute piss baby over this stuff. Like, fucking grown man. I need to not worry about this shit anymore. Anyway, My Hero Academia is good, and Davi's good, and I relate to him on a deep way. Not the murder stuff, but the rest of the stuff. Not the burning, but like the sadness. I understand. And it's one of the best articulations of a mental abuse situation I've seen, especially from this medium. And I wish you guys would treat it with a little bit more respect because it actually does deserve it. And he did a great job. And those are my thoughts on it. I'm probably not going to read the comments on this if I even post it. I haven't decided if I'm going to post it yet, but if I do, I'm not going to read the comments. So, enjoy it, I guess. Enjoy this shit rambling for like half an hour. And I'll see you in the next episode of Shonen and Chill and that Gojo video that will one day come out. I don't know how to end. I don't know how to end good videos, let alone how to end this one. So I'm just going to click the stop recording button. Okay, I'm clicking it.